Local news, which is next. Live, local, late-breaking CBS 19 News starts right now.
It's a good thing to solve crimes after they happen, but I think our primary responsibility is to prevent them from happening.
He will be the next chief of police in Cleveland, and tonight he promises to take an even bigger bite out of crime. Good evening. Denise is off tonight. And tonight, Martin Flask is in as Cleveland's top cop. Rocco Paluccio, chief for 2.5 years, is out.
Paluccio resigned to take a job with Brown's owner Al Lerner's banking company. The shakeup at the top has some wondering why another change. Paul Orlowski reports.
We're in the business of stopping crimes, not recording crimes.
Outgoing Chief Rocco Paluccio believes he's going out on top. Crime is down. There's progress in community policing, and Al Lerner offered him a job he says was impossible to turn down. Deputy Chief Martin Flask, who will take over for Paluccio in 2 weeks, agrees.
Crime's on a decrease, our performance indicators are up, and it's a good time to be involved in law enforcement, and we're really proud of it.
Nonetheless, many are wondering what role, if any, Mayor White could have had in the change. Flask will be the mayor's 5th full-time chief in just over 8 years. Paluccio dismisses such talk.
I'll tell you that he's been very supportive of this division, supportive of me, and he's let me take care of the police work.
Those words echoed the ones our review of tapes shows Paluccio spoke at his swearing-in as chief. As for Flask, he's been the deputy chief of field operations since 1996, has 26 years on the job, and is high profile from years as the department's media spokesman. He's aware of the talk of City Hall's role in the department.
I'm part of that process, and I think I know my place, and I think I know my responsibilities, and I look forward to it.
Paluccio says that any problems he encountered here as chief pale by comparison to 2 phone calls he had to take as chief. Those phone calls carried the news that officers had been killed in the line of duty. Hillary Kutnick and Robert Clark.
It's a tough job. Those are probably, that's the nightmare that every police chief has, that pager will go off at 3 in the morning, and you'll get a message like that. That was the toughest. That was the toughest part of being a chief.
Paul Orlowski, CBS 19 News.
He's going to be
In a prepared statement, Mayor White said he's losing a true friend and an outstanding police officer. Well, you've got to go out tonight. You better dress warmly. Winter has another brutally cold night in store for us, complete with bone-chilling winds. And that's especially bad news for the salt truck drivers who've been working nearly non-stop since the storm to clear the roads. The polar air is making their job nearly impossible. Mayor White even noticed.
It is not breaking up the ice. The ice is compounded, by and large, not on our main routes, but in our residential areas.
The mayor plans to bring in heavy equipment, such as road graders, to break up the ice pack and let the salt work.
That thick ice is adding to a lot of spills and falls. Doctors at Metro Health Medical Center have been busy lately. They've seen lots of sprains and broken bones from people slipping on the ice. This woman is one of them. Through an interpreter, she told us how she broke her elbow trying to walk back to her apartment.
She said that there was snow on top of the ice, and that's why she didn't notice. And she said that her boot went into the snow, and that's when she hit the ice, and she just went up in the air.
Now, if you do fall and you're in a lot of pain, doctors say go to the emergency room and get yourself checked out. The cold weather is bringing in cold cash for lots of area businesses tonight. Mike O'Mara joins us now live from West 25th Street in Cleveland with more on the people who are making money tonight. Mike?
Well, there is some money to be made because that storm over the weekend was nasty, but it left behind, as we just heard about, all this ice. It's just about everywhere. Everybody's sliding around. And if you want to find some salt to throw down, well, good luck, because there isn't much to find. The ice is everywhere, under the snow, on top of the snow. The driveways became bobsled runs.
Potassium chloride, calcium chloride, the regular rock salt, sand, you name it.
We don't even have sand?
Right, and we're all out of play sand, and most places are, too, from my understanding.
Yeah, I would say everybody I've talked to is just solid ice.
So what's your plan?
Well, pick it away, just break it up by hand as much as you can.
Girlfriend, she couldn't even get up the driveway.
And so you're out here being the nice guy?
Yeah.
Are you going to survive this?
I don't know.
We did find one commercial ice remover down to his last supply of salt.
You can't find fluoride, you can't find any kind of safety salt, no calcium, nowhere.
But the cold weather is great for companies that cater to the stay-at-home crowd.
Definite increase. When the weather gets cold and people start coming in, they rent more videos, tend to be 4 to 5 videos a piece.
Can't get the car to the driveway? Hey, it's pizza time. Delivered, of course.
colder that it gets, more people don't want to come out of their house. So we get a lot of people calling in and wanting delivery.
Well, you may want to tip the delivery person because, let's face it, getting up your driveway and your sidewalk is downright dangerous, at least until we get some of the salt. That's the latest. Back to you, Kevin.
Yeah, if you can find the salt. Any word on when the stores might get some back in?
The word is sometime late tomorrow, a new shipment is coming in of salt, calcium chloride, potassium chloride, and maybe even some more kitty litter for people to throw down because it's slippery out here.
Yeah, okay, Mike. Get in. Get warm.
Thanks.
Thanks. You might want to make sure you have enough videos and foods to stay inside a few more days.
That's a good idea because this cold weather isn't going away soon. Kerry Coleman joins us now from outside with the latest. Kerry?
Well, I can tell you it's very cold out here right now, and we do have a wind chill advisory across most of the viewing area during the course of the night tonight. For good reason. We're going to be seeing those wind chill factors between 20 and 30 below zero, and we're already in the 20s below zero. As we take a look at storm watch there, you can see that wind chill advisory in effect here across the area. Well, as Mike pointed out, Mike White, the mayor, as well as our Mike O'Mara, we do have a lot of ice here around the area. This is a sidewalk, and that's what we have across many of the sidewalks here, as well as many of the side streets. And unfortunately, we're not going to see that warmer temperatures at least for another couple of days. We may see a little bit of melting tomorrow with about 20 for a high temperature. It's still going to be around, though, for at least a few more days. All of this nasty ice out there where it's not salted. A complete forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Kerry. Well, the severe cold and thick ice meant an extra day of vacation for most local school kids. Parents were listening to the weather reports to find out if their child's school was among the many that canceled classes for today. Most schools canceled classes last night, but Cleveland waited until this morning, and that meant some parents had to scramble for alternate child care plans.
It's kind of an inconvenience for people, you know, when they have to wait that late to find out, you know, whether their kids are going to be in school or not. You know, but it all works out, you know. They get to play games and mess around, and we get to work.
Well, we will be keeping an updated for you on the school closings for tomorrow morning throughout this newscast. But for the most up-to-date reports on closings and current weather conditions, tune in to CBS 19 News at 5:30 with Byron Brown and John Stalin.
Things at Hopkins Airport tonight are just now getting back to normal after the weekend storms. The weather caused delays and cancellations here and in many other cities. Many people were forced to camp out in the airports when they waited for any flight home. But tonight, all the flights at Hopkins are back on schedule. But it was still rough going on local highways. This van was hit by a salt truck on I-480 near the Granger Road overpass. The accident looks worse than it could have been. The driver of the van was treated for minor injuries at a hospital and then released. The truck driver was not hurt.
Police believe ICE is to blame for a fatal car crash on Rockside Road in Valley View. A car lost control and slammed into an oncoming SUV. One driver was cut out of the car and life-flighted to Metro Health Medical Center, where he later died. The driver of the other vehicle was taken to Marymount Hospital. He was treated and released. Funeral services were held today for a Cleveland firefighter killed in a car accident. Firefighter Larry Lanford was laid to rest this morning in Olmsted Township. The burial service honored his memory with a 21-gun salute. Lanford died last week when his car slid on some ice at I-71 and West 25th Street. He was off duty at the time. Lanford was 50 years old and has served as a firefighter for 25 years.
They're cleaning up from the weekend storm in other parts of Ohio tonight. In Cincinnati, shoveling has given way to chipping. Freezing rain there turned streets to thick sheets of ice. Salt trucks were out in full force, but because of the low temperatures like those in Cleveland, it's not working very well there either. Roads in Toledo are looking better, but drivers this afternoon still had to be on the lookout for dangerous black ice. For the most part, though, the highways of the main city streets were clear, but the drivers were still taking it pretty easy on the turns.
With the new year, there is a new addition for the City Council. Cecilia Huffman began her job as the new City Council clerk today. She's replacing former clerk Arthur Woods, who retired last month. Huffman has a long history of community service in Cleveland and has worked in public service for more than 30 years. A former Cleveland social worker accused of molesting a 15-year-old boy has pleaded guilty. 46-year-old Suzanne Smithers entered a guilty plea today on 2 counts of corruption with a minor. The victim's father claimed he caught his son and Smithers at a hotel in downtown Cleveland. Smithers faces up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine.
Members of Congress tonight are starting to make their way back to Washington, where they'll convene again on Wednesday. After they're sworn in at noon, members of the House will begin choosing who's going to present evidence in President Clinton's impeachment trial. The president's lawyers say they could be ready to go as soon as next week. There's some concern, though. The impeachment trial will affect the State of the Union speech, now scheduled 2 weeks from tomorrow. But the White House tonight says that date will stand unless the Senate wants to move it. Elizabeth Dole may be one step closer tonight to a run for president.
The wife of former Senator Bob Dole has resigned as president of the Red Cross. Turning our eye on America, Dole told fellow Red Cross workers that she was resigning the position to look for a new way to serve the American people. Dole has scored high in public opinion polls as a potential presidential candidate. So far, she hasn't confirmed what her future plans will be.
Soon, I will begin considering new paths, and there are exciting possibilities. I will choose one and pursue it with all my might.
A local Red Cross official will be taking over for Elizabeth Dole, at least temporarily. Greater Cleveland Chapter CEO Steve Bullock will step into the top spot until